Senator Marjory Lebreton is the new Secretary of State for seniors in Canada. You were summoned to the Senate in 1993 by former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney.
That's right.
You have quite a history in the Conservative Party, I understand,
Yes.
And in the new Conservative Party. You originally opposed the merger of the two parties, but then you ended up advising Stephen Harper as one of his closest advisors on the previous election campaign, which all turned out very well, if I may say in a non-biased journalistic tone. But what about Stephen Harper and his leadership brought you from opposing the merger to being one of his greatest advisors?
Well, that's a fair and good question. There's no secret that I fought very hard to save the old Progressive Conservative Party. It had been my political home for all my adult life, and before, even when I was a teenager, my parents were very active politically. But it became very clear to me after the 2000 election and that we were in grave difficulty, and particularly when Mr. Kretsch brought in the changes to the Elections Act. And it became very clear to me that our ability to attract candidates, raise money, were much diminished, and we were in fact dying on the vine. And I was always, even though I tried very hard to save the old PC party, I was always, and I even stated that when we were having these discussions, I was always motivated by mostly finding a way to remove the Liberals from office. And as a matter of fact, when this realization started to come to fruition was when we had that short-lived PC-DRC coalition. And I know Joe Clark wouldn't want to agree with this, but you know, the fact that we had that coalition, the ground was laid, and I don't know why he wouldn't have supported what happened since, because I found, working with that caucus, that I quite liked the people that joined the coalition. As a matter of fact, I like some of them better than I like some people I've been working with in the PC party. People like Jay Hill and Gary Lunn and Deborah Gray, and so that's when I started to realize that there wasn't an awful lot of difference between us.
So you credit the PCDRC for laying the initial groundwork for the merger of the two parties?
Well, not so much for the merger, but more for my own starting to change my views on the matter. And then we went through the whole PC leadership with Peter MacKay in 2003. I instinctively knew that we were in some difficulty over the orchard issue. And then over the summer, when they were seriously behind the scenes starting to work together to get the two parties together, I still was not, I was still dubious. But I voted ultimately in favor of the merger when the vote actually happened. And then when I started going to the new caucus, the new Conservative caucus, I started to pay a lot of attention to Stephen Harper and his leadership abilities, and I was really impressed. I was impressed with the way he could lead caucus, his willingness to listen to all points of view, and I really started to look, and I came to the realization that this new caucus, with all of the members from the Progressive Conservative side and the Alliance side, were not unlike any other Conservative caucus that I had been involved with right back to the time of John Degenbaker. And as a matter of fact, I joked to some people, there were no extreme people in the new caucus like there have been in the past in the PC party. So.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, and it just you know, one thing led to another, and of course I'm a loyal conservative. I'm a conservative philosophically. Yeah. I'm, you know, I often get tagged as, people call me a red Tory. That's really not true. I'm a fiscal conservative. I've been always a fiscal conservative. I'm not. I've never been driven much on issues of personal morals or anything. It's just, these are issues that I've never felt that, you know, I had much I really didn't have much to contribute to, because I've been sort of a live and let live kind of a person on issues like that.
Okay. You've recently been appointed as the Secretary of State for Seniors. Congratulations on the new appointment. Now, but you were already in cabinet as the leader of the government in the Senate.
Yeah.
So you had sat at the cabinet table, and so one assumes that seniors are a constituency that this government has recommitted to in their focus, because you were previously a cabinet minister, so the only difference is that you have this new portfolio. Do you think that this government is trying to showcase seniors and trying to recommit to seniors after, especially the income trust issue, and with the pension splitting issue on people's minds?
Well, I don't. That wasn't really what motivated the government or the Prime Minister, I don't believe. I'm in a unique position because he's used Secretary of State positions for the various portfolios because I am a full member of cabinet and sit on P&P and as government leader in the Senate. So I've got my full cabinet responsibilities, and this is now an addition, Secretary of State Seniors. So I'm wearing two hats now. No, I think the seniors, during the last election campaign, we committed to a minister that would be responsible specifically for seniors issues. So it's living up to a campaign commitment. Obviously, I am a senior. I'll be 67 in a few months in the summer, and it's an area where we've done a lot of good work. We've done a lot of good work with seniors groups. Fortunately, through my Senate work, and especially on social affairs, I've met many of the seniors organizations. So I will simply try. I can only do my best. I've always approached everything I've ever been asked to do in politics that way. I'll work hard. I'm known to work very hard at various jobs I've been given, and do my very best. And I'll represent issues that are brought to me by seniors organizations and seniors individually to the cabinet table, and I will represent the government and the government's commitments and priorities to seniors groups. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, and it is quite a challenge because seniors, seniors are they're a growing demographic. Seniors are living longer, living healthier, staying in their homes longer. Seniors now, like myself, are quite unlike our parents, our mothers particularly, because it's more women that have changed considerably. Because women like myself, while my mother worked very hard, but she worked in the home, we've now got a whole group of seniors like myself and others who have worked in the paid workforce. So there's a different dynamic now with seniors. So it'll be, I'm still in the early days. I'm spending the afternoon after you leave with departmental officials, being briefed on what's happening in the department. I'll be working. The lead minister, of course, is Monty Solberg, which is great because I worked with Monty before. So I'm looking forward to it, although it is a challenge.
Okay. And you were, as I mentioned, you're a close advisor to Prime Minister Harper, and you're also known for being close advisor and confidant of Prime Minister Mulroney. How do you see Prime Minister Mulroney, his legacy and the continuation of his legacy, or more of his influence? How do you see his foot in the current government, like his influence? Yeah,
well, Mr. Mulroney, first of all, he will have a very strong legacy. I mean, and it's already happening. I mean, even on the environment, he's now been named the greenest prime minister, even though 20 years ago he was attacked for not doing enough on the environment. Mr. Mulroney was a very visionary, courageous leader. Canada was noticed in the world. He took on very tough issues like apartheid in South Africa. Of course, the free trade agreement, the NAFTA, the restructuring of our tax system, So Mr. Mulrooney's legacy is well intact and is being appreciated more and more. With regard to his role in this government, Mr. Mulrooney is he's interesting because he does not inject himself into the operations of this government at all. Mm-hmm. He's there if any of us want to seek out his advice, but he's not going to, he has not been and will not be a person who will deliberately inject himself into the operations of the government. And all is to say, though, that he's very, very pleased, obviously, to see the Conservatives in government and doing so well.
That's a great endorsement.
Yeah.
And he's doing well?
Oh, very well.
That's
yeah.
good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time today and talking to me as a blogger and blogging Tories in the blogosphere.
Well, and after I've been in this job for a couple of months, you may want to come back and and do a little update. I'd be very happy to do that.
Sure, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.